Well, hey friends and neighbors, this is Chuck out at Sheridan Park Farms. Welcome back to the farm. So here in western North Carolina, we've had some terrible weather over the past couple weeks. A lot of rain, been cold. Last night, I think we got about 1.5 inches worth of rain and lost power. 4 o'clock this morning, Son and I were up here in the shop building a fire, lighting lanterns, out at the barn, making sure we had brooder lamps on so those chicks didn't get cold. It's been a mess, been a terrible mess. Hang on with me for a little bit. Let's go check on everybody this morning, see how everybody's doing. We're getting a little bit of daylight now. And I've got a little project that I'm thinking about starting out here in the hay barn. And I want y'all to give me a little input on what you think would be the best way about going, gosh almighty, about the best way to set it up and get it going. So hang on with me for a little bit. Let's check on some animals, take a look at the new project we've got going on. Coming? Come on. Sophie, come on. Come on. Let's ride. All right, before we get started this morning, I want to show y'all what the creek back here behind the house looks like. It's on the back side of the farm. She's ripping pretty good this morning. We had about 1.5 inches of rain over the past 24 hours. Skies are blue right now, but they're calling, I think, for a little bit more rain today. We'll see, but everything around here is muddy, soupy, soft. I mean, it's awful. So this is the conditions that we're starting from this morning. Let's see what we can get done. And real quick, the other day, I'll show you the barn in a minute, but Son and I were working on clearing out a spot in the barn for another little project, and I took some stuff out to what we call the horse barn, which is where the cows are at right now. And I got the buggy stuck. Wish I'd have had my camera with me. She brought one of the other buggies out. We used a tow strap, was able to pull it out, but man, somebody needs to wash this thing. All right, let's take the new Holland out to the shop and fill it up. She's getting a little low on diesel. And talking to a good friend of mine the other day who watches the videos, and he said, you know, when you start that tractor, you need to let that thing run for a minute, warm up. And I usually do. Every once in a while, I'll jump on this thing and start it and take off and just go. But back whenever it was so cold, those days when it was in the teens and 20s, I would start it and let it run for a few minutes before we would do anything. Hydraulic fluid is thick to begin with, gets cold, your controls and all get real sloppy, real delayed. Tractor lugs a lot of black smoke. So we're gonna start this thing and let it run for just a minute this morning. We're in the mid 40s. We're still gonna let it run for a second. So real quick, on the last video that I done talking about how I had bought a fake knife off of eBay, I had some astute, well-educated, skinny jean wearing fella point out to me that it took me 9 minutes to get to the point that I had bought a fake knife. Well, yeah, don't know if you ever watch Perry Mason or Matlock or Criminal Minds or any of that kind of stuff, but they don't tell you who the killer is in the first 2 minutes. That's how you run it over. Misty Martin. So we've got this bulk diesel tank that local gas company comes and puts our off-road diesel in. And a couple of weeks ago, I got, I think about 200 gallons of off-road diesel. We're running the New Holland. I've got a diesel side by side, and then we've got the sawmill, which we've not been running very much yet, of course. But for those of you that have got this, I put a can of that Sta-Bil for diesel, used the storage concentration. I think it was 1 ounce for every 5 gallons or something like that. Do y'all do that? Do y'all put Sta-Bil in this? I do. I thought it would be a good idea. Because it's outside, we've got so much temperature change up and down. I'm sure there's condensation in this and that kind of thing. But do y'all put Sta-Bil in your bulk tanks where you're storing either gasoline or diesel? Just curious. All right, let's go feed them cows. Wish I had a mute button for her. Lord of mercy, she's loud. There's a little light on in here. All right, so real quick, I want to get y'all's opinion on something here now. And you know, in a previous video, I had said that, you know, there may be a time whenever I would ask an opinion and see what y'all think. So I'm genuinely interested in what y'all think about this deal here. So this is, we call this the hay barn for pretty obvious reasons. We also use this for, we keep our brooders in here. We'll talk about our chicks here in a minute. We've moved all of them back out here to the out to the barn, split them up. But anyway, what I'm thinking, on that sawmill, I have not used that sawmill because, and this is an excuse, yes, I get it, it's an excuse. To use that mill, I have to bring it out, set it up, use it, break it down, and put it back in the shop, because I am not going to pay what I paid for that mill to set it outside and cover it with a tarp. This ain't gonna do it. So over here on this part of the barn, when we first moved to this property, this became where everything landed. All the stuff that we didn't have a place to put, didn't know what to do with it, this is where it ended up. So we're going through this, and believe it or not, there has been progress made. Sonder took a whole pickup load of stuff to the dump yesterday. But what are y'all's thoughts? I have plenty of room to park the mill long ways like this with the log lift on this side where we are, and then the operator's side would be on the back. The reason I'm liking this, the reason I think this is the way to go is big door here, bigger door here. So we could come in with logs from either side. We would have some log bunks in this neighborhood here, put the logs on, and then we could roll them up onto the mill. That mill, for a total length, is about 26 feet from the hitch to the end of the rail. It'll take 21 feet material, but it's overall it's 26 inches, or excuse me, 26 feet. I'm talking about feet. It's 26 feet long. Should have plenty of room here. The concern that I've got is, if we're back here, so you kind of imagine the mill sitting here, we're back here on this side, and this is the operator station, and we're walking back and forth. There will be sawdust back here on this side, so we're going to have to clean that out, or we're going to have to put in some kind of chute system to shoot it outside through the wall. And we can figure that out. That's not a huge deal. But is this the right orientation? to put it long ways like this, or should it be the other direction? And if we were to do that, then we could come in from the side, over here or over here, depending on which side the log lift was on, and drop logs either here or over here. But it's going to be a little tight because of getting something in. I don't want the mill sitting in this breezeway. I don't want anything blocking up this breezeway, because we need to get through with the tractor, with trailers, side by sides, whatever the case may be. So this needs to stay fairly open. Now, we also got a hay storage issue that we're going to have to address. We don't hold a whole lot of hay during the off season. We will typically buy hay in the summer, start putting a few bales back, and then by the fall we've bought a couple of times and we've got enough hay in here. This is not nearly enough storage. Now this trailer, of course we need to do something with the trailer. It has a new to us walk-in freezer on it. We got to do something with that. And I got a lot of projects. But we'll have hay, we can have hay storage back here. Thinking about building on for more hay storage eventually and that kind of thing. But the primary concern right now is this the right location for this mill? And is the orientation right? Long ways here, log lift over here, operator station back here. I know it's a lot of jabbering. Oh, and as you can tell, we do have power in here. I've got 3 overhead LEDs. Thinking about putting 3 more back there on the back side so that we're kind of lighting up the back corner of that barn. A lot of junk going away. Y'all, this field is extremely soft. I hate to drive through it, but where we've been feeding up there next to the road, closer to the horse barn, it's just pure mud up there, and I don't want to put their hay down in the mud. So we're going to take it out here, put it out on the side of the hill. It's a little drier because it rains, not had quite as much foot traffic on it. We've had, today is, so we ain't got 2 or 3 days left in the month. And we've had almost 10 inches of rain for the month of January. It's been awful, just awful. All right, got your hay unrolled. Thought it'd be a good chance to kind of update everybody on the cows. Wintertime, everybody's looking a little thin. It's hard to keep condition on these animals this time of year with hay. Trying to feed them good quality hay, but you know, we don't do any grain here, so hay's what to get. But we're giving them a full roll every day. Should be enough for the stocking density that we've got here. But this is our, y'all remember this little guy? Found him one of those early cold mornings, and he's just doing fantastic. These cows, I tell you what, them babies, they get a little milk in them, and they're off and running pretty quick. Had another surprise the other day. don't know if y'all recall or not, I've got 3 of these black with the white face cows, and then there were 2 black ones solid black ones that I bought with them. One of these had a calf the other day. She's got it hid. We're gonna go over here and see if we can find it. If we can't, I've got a little bit of footage from the other day when it was first born. Well, y'all, it's happened again. We've had another calf, and I didn't know this cow was pregnant. This is one that I bought. I can get it to focus here. There we go. Oh, it's getting dark. I didn't know this cow was pregnant. This is one that I got off of our friend Mike Harmon, that we were gonna process pretty soon, but not so much now. Look at that.
Well, it's up and at it.
It's up and at it. I mean, daggone. And I hate it's getting dark. Look at her. She's taking that thing off. She's like, I don't want to mess with y'all. But little heifer calf. See if she's over here. Where are you going, buddy? You go back over there with your mama and eat. You don't need to be following us. She's been hiding that thing over here in the woods. On the edge of the woods, anyway. See, I wish he wouldn't do that. He needs to stay over there with the herd. I don't see it right now. I saw it walking around a few minutes ago. There it is. Hello, little bit. So this is a little heifer calf. And this was born on one of those black white face like I was talking about a minute ago. And I called my buddy Mike, the fellow I bought these off of, bought them back in September. And I said, had you had a bull running with these? Texted him. He immediately called. What's wrong? I said, well, one of these cows you sold me had a calf. One of these heifers you sold me had a calf. He said, no, but they were on a piece of property and the neighbor, his bull went missing for a few days. I said, well, I think I know where he is at. So we got this one here, and she's a pretty little thing, doing good. Mama's got her head over here. She's pretty smart. She's laying still over here in the shade. So, but there's 2 calves that we didn't expect. And I'm not, y'all, I'm not in the cow-calf business. I don't want to be in the cow-calf business. I need to be in the finishing animal business because that's where we can profit the most in selling retail cuts whenever we finish these cows off. So I like to buy 700-800 pounds, bring them on, finish them into, one hollering up there, finish them off on grass, butcher them, and then sell them. I don't need all the baby mama drama. I don't need to be out here worrying about cows having calves in 2-degree weather at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't need to worry about moving a bull around. That's not my interest. That's not what I'm set up for. But y'all know we had a bull, so I let him go in September. So I'm gonna hold everything off until June. We'll know by June if we've got any calves or not, and then we can start processing out. Planning on buying a few more here in a couple weeks. One of our partner farms has got some animals that's gonna be ready, so we think we're gonna be buying a few more steers. But my buddy Mike, who I bought this one off of, is willing to come up and do a pregnancy check on everybody. So we may end up doing a pregnancy check just to kind of know where we're at. And if there's anything we can go ahead and move along, we can go ahead and move it along and not have to worry about having a baby. And I'm by no means complaining about that calf. Number one, she's absolutely beautiful. And number two, it's a free cow. Sort of free. And if you're curious, this is that new calf's mama. She's a good mom. Keeping that thing hid. Got it some milk quick, took off. Make somebody a good replacement. This is one of the other ones. She's kind of round in the middle. Maybe, maybe not. Hey, buddy. Hey, you come see me? Huh? You come see me? Can I touch you? No. All right, I told y'all we'd check on these chicks. So we've had these guys a little over 2 weeks now. And if you remember when they first came in on a pretty cold day, They were really cold when we brought them out of the boxes and put them in the brooder. Ended up losing in that first 24 to 36 hours, somewhere around 24, 25. I think we've lost one more since. So we started with 101, we've got 75 left. The reason for the loss, I think, was cold shock. We ended up making some changes to the brooder, what we were doing. Moved them up to the barn, moved them up to the shop. We've since brought them back down here to the barn and split them up into 2 brooders because they're getting big. So let's take the lids off and I'll show you what they're looking like. All right, here they are. And they are doing really, really good. We got 3 lights on because it was cold, got a little cold last night, a little cool today. But we're gonna fill their drinker and their feeders up. But Cornish cross, a little over 2 weeks old now. Should, you know, barring any catastrophe, we should make it to the finish line with these guys. But wanted to buy them a little bit. We started earlier than we normally do so that we would have chicken for our farmers markets when they start opening up here in the spring. So, but once we got past that cold snap, got a little size on them, man, they're doing fantastic now. Let's fill these feeders and drinkers up right quick. Well, this is problematic. Had a power outage last night, and I bet we've thrown the switch, pressure switch, on the well pump. So this is my well, and my buddy Jim Bob, if you're watching this, yes, that's his name. My buddy Jim Bob, if you're watching this, I don't know if you remember or not, but we got a little well house we need to get built here. But anyway, this is our well. I wrapped it in insulation, then we got a tarp over top of it. We keep it covered up so that it doesn't freeze. But we've got, so there's a pressure switch buried up in the insulation right there. And I don't know if I'm gonna explain this right. My buddy Dale's the one who told me to put this on this thing. But when the pressure gets so low, or your flow stops, something will cause that switch to flip and save your pump. It's like a low pressure throw out, low pressure safety switch or something like that. So we had a power outage last night and it caused that switch to throw. So I had to reset it. I've got the same thing on the pump in the reservoir box that feeds the house, and it done the same thing this morning. So I had to go reset it. Didn't think this one would throw, but it did. No big deal. We got water now, I think. All right, this will tell the story. Got you, Maggie. That's what she's supposed to do. So I figured we probably got a couple more days with this configuration, and then we're going to need to split these down a little bit further to maybe 10 and 10, and then put the rest of them in the 2 big brooders outside, or work, you know, kind of work towards that, because they are starting to get a little crowded. We're having to add some shavings. Those shavings that we buy, we get them from a local sawmill. They're a lot smaller than the flake shavings that you get at Tractor Supply. They fluff them up a little bit better. We don't get near as much compaction, near as much poo on them. They seem to work a whole lot better, but still yet, we'll need to get them out, spread them out a little bit, give them a little more room. We don't want them too tight. And hopefully, you know, getting them outside this time of year, we're just going to have to play that by ear and see how it goes. We knew we would be in the brooders for a long time. Because of the weather, you know, this is the end of January. We've still got some cold nights ahead of us. If we put them out in tractors, you know, we may have to add lights or something like that. I don't know yet. But putting them out on pasture, we'll have to play that by ear. We'll see how it goes. The way these baby calves have been showing up, I thought it might not be a bad idea just to run out here and see how everybody was doing. Don't see any. Oh, don't see anybody new. Well, 201 right there, buddy. She's big as a house. I think she's gonna have one. I don't see anybody new, but our newest ones are out with Mama, looks like. Hey, hey Mama, who you got back there? You got that baby? Got that baby nursing? You got that baby nursing over there? Looky there. Pretty little thing. I don't see anybody else new. Looks like everybody's in good shape here. All right, looks like everybody's in pretty good shape. No worse for the wear, considering the weather that we had last night. I tell you, it was awful. Power went off and I was asleep, and I heard Sandra get up, and I thought, she's going to the living room, because sometimes she does that. And next thing I heard, she was getting her boots on to go out the door, and about that time I woke up and realized that the power was off, and said, what's going on? And she said, the power's off, I'm gonna go check on the house, and got me, and we went out and got the lamps going and came up here and built a fire, and we just kind of hung out for a little bit. But luckily the power didn't stay off for too long, came back on. Speaking of that, when we were messing around with all that stuff this morning, I was thinking about, you know, being prepared and some of the things that we needed to do to be ready. You know, one thing I was thinking about was that fuel tank out there. I probably need to get a manual pump to go in that thing, so that if the power goes out and we need to get diesel out, we can get it out. That thing runs on electricity. We'd have to bring the generator up here or something to be able to get fuel out of that thing. So I probably need to get a manual pump to go in it as a backup. So that may be something that I end up doing. But that also brought to mind some friends of ours who live just up the road a little ways are putting on, this is going to be Readiness Expo. It's going to be down in Harmony, North Carolina, which is just a little bit north of Statesville, conveniently located right off of I-77. They're going to be doing a lot of different classes down there, May 3rd through the 5th. They got some big names coming. Daniel Salatin is going to be coming down on Friday. He's going to be doing a chicken processing class, showing folks how to process chickens. I think you'll have the opportunity to process your own chicken, cook it, take it home, take it, you know, a lot of different options there. Mike, the Fit Farmer, I think is going to be there. They've got a lot of different classes on preparedness, canning, survival skills, raising your own food, a lot of different stuff going on. Really neat deal. We went down and helped out with it last year. We're not able to this year. We've got some other stuff going on. May be able to go down on Friday. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'm going to post a link in the description down below for tickets to that. Fantastic little deal at the Van Hoy Campground. They'll have camping available. It's going to be a very nice deal. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think it would be a good opportunity to go out and visit with those folks. Like I said earlier, leave me a comment down below what you think about this sawmill deal out here in the hay barn. I think that's going to work out good. Parking it long ways, being able to come in there with the tractor, drop logs off, have the control station, the operator station on the back where we can move back and forth. We will have to figure out how to manage the sawdust piece, but I think that shouldn't be too big of a deal because that building does have power. But let me know what you think about that. I need to get that mill out and run it tomorrow. I got a bunch of logs down the field and need to get those on the mill. There's some stuff I'm wanting to do, so got to get to work. I think that's going to do it. Like we always say, please keep us in your prayers. May God bless you and your families, and we'll see you on the next video.